Namaskar and welcome to Startup Champions. I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. This is the stage that celebrates the startup talent of India. Whether it's individuals, businesses or nations, we thrive when we feel secure. A safe environment is the beginning point of everything possible. Now, consider this. Have you ever got a mail from an unknown foreigner saying that they want to start a business with you and want to add millions of dollars into your account if you could just send them your bank account details? I hope you didn't, because that's a classic example of online fraud. Now, similar online fraud, cyber attacks, hacking, the cases have increased manyfold, some 600% they say, especially during the time of the pandemic. Now, don't we wish to have an ally who can protect us from such threats? The good news is that now we do. Startups today are using cutting-edge technology and innovation to give us a safer environment, and today in the program, we have such startups with us. Very happy to introduce you to the startups who are joining us in the show. We have with us Safe Security and co-founder Rahul Tyagi is with us. Rahul, warm welcome to you. And the second startup joining us is Statue Technologies. Co-founder Anurag Saini is with us. Anurag, warm welcome to the program.
Thank you so much.
Great. And we also have with us a set of audience members. They're students, entrepreneurs of tomorrow, and we are very happy to have with us a faculty member also. Please put your hands together and a warm welcome to the program. And let's talk about our mentor. Mentors are crucial for the journey of any startup and for startup champions as well. Allow me to introduce you to the mentor who is joining us. There he is on the mentor wall. We have with us Mr. Gaurav Agarwal, handling enterprise business at VMware. Previously, he was managing director at Symantec, one of the world's largest cyber security service provider. Warm welcome, Gaurav, to the program.
Hi everybody.
All right, as we begin the program, let's look at a special report to understand the manner in which cyber threats are increasing today, the role that technology is playing in mitigating the challenge, and the importance of startups in all of this. Let's take a look.
The 21st century is defined by innovative use technology and the digital space. From online payment for groceries to direct benefit transfer to millions of beneficiaries, from online classes and exams to multilateral meeting of heads of nations and governments. While the online space and digital tools offer tremendous potential for creativity and connectivity, its vulnerability also exposes us to unforeseen threats and challenges. With the 21st century, cybercrime, data theft, cyber attack and warfare is also coming of age. Let's understand the challenge through some data and trends. Cybercrimes rise up to 600% during the pandemic. Europe experienced highest number of cyber attack in the region. Estimated damage per year globally from cyber attacks likely to cross $20 billion in 2021. India faced highest number of cyber attacks in the Asia-Pacific region, second only to Japan. 7% of all cyber attacks in the region were directed at India. Ransomware was the top attack type, making up 40% of all attack types. Finance and insurance emerged as the most vulnerable sectors. Manufacturing and professional services also targeted by hackers. There have been reports of targeted attacks on India's COVID vaccine supply chain. Digital currency mining and server access attacks hit Indian companies. This tech-driven crisis offers opportunities for tech-led solutions. Startups are seizing the moment to make our physical and online environments more secure and safe.
With the rapid increase of tech use, data protection as well as cyber security become very, very important. Our youth can play a big role in devising robust cyber security solutions. These solutions can effectively vaccinate digital products against cyber attacks and viruses. Today, our fintech industry is doing very well. Millions of people are doing transactions without any hesitation. This is because of people's trust, which is very important to be preserved and made stronger. A sound data governance framework is also our priority.
Today, startups in the security sector are using cutting-edge technology to guard individuals, organizations, and the nation against physical and online threats. They are effectively protecting data and identities by leveraging power of artificial intelligence. Smart technology is transforming the physical security apparatus as well. Startups are showing innovative use of CCTV cameras with facial recognition technology, drones, access control infrastructure, smart fire alarms, vehicle monitoring systems, and much more. The need of the hour is policy revision to address the newer challenges along with an ecosystem of startups that can make our defense against future threats efficient, comprehensive, and smart.
So that was a glimpse into the world of cybersecurity. Let's turn to our mentor to get a perspective on this. Gaurav Agarwal continues to be with us. Gaurav, we can have you on the mentor wall. There you are. Gaurav, now for a layperson, the understanding of cybersecurity is really limited to perhaps installing an antivirus on the computer. But if you could give us a bigger picture about how expansive the threat today is and the role that startups are playing in both online and offline safety.
Sure. So the extent on which or by which somebody can be compromised or attacked is significant, both at a consumer individual level and at an organization level. So for consumer level, the most common phishing scam or email is the example that you gave at the start, where somebody sends an email, asks for some data, and based on that data, you transfer money, you get more money, and then you get into a scam. But your identity can get stolen, and then you can get threatened because somebody will say, I'll leak some information, and all sorts of things at a personal level. For corporations, the impact is even more significant because you can cause downtime, you can cause data loss, and you can cause prevention to access of system, which is what has happened in case of malware and ransomware in the last couple of years. So because the attacker and the attack surface is constantly increasing, the role of startups is significant because as more and more people access information through new devices, through new mechanisms, through new metrics, how do you secure both the consumer or the enterprise with what you're using becomes a significant challenge and an opportunity as well.
Right there. Gaurav, stay with us while we connect with our first startup, Safe Security. Now, when the cyber threats become sophisticated, the solution, the response also has to be smarter, and that's where Safe Security comes in. They're able to quantify the cybersecurity risk faced by an institution, and their importance, their popularity, their effectiveness can be gauged from their client lists, from Facebook to Google, HDFC Bank, leading airports, and many more. Interestingly, they've also developed a mobile app to ensure that state-of-the-art security is also accessible to every individual. Let's learn more about this fantastic startup.
The success story of these three champions began with the foundation laying of a startup company in Delhi a few years ago. Incubated out of IIT Mumbai, the company has grown by leaps and bounds and now has a head office in Palo Alto in the US. CEO and the co-founder of the company, Saket Modi, says, COVID has increased human dependency on technology many-fold. And so, whether it's a person or a multinational company, security and safety of data is essential.
Today, because of COVID, our dependence on technology has shot up exponentially. The business that most organizations are doing around the world, at least the large Fortune 2000 companies, which is our target market, they are extremely dependent on technology. So if you see that the common requirement when your business is dependent on something is to make sure that something is reliably available, its integrity is maintained, its confidentiality is maintained, and that is what we are here to offer.
Rahul Tyagi, the co-founder of the company, tells us that they not only alert their clients against possible hacking attacks, but also provide a safe solution once the hacker has already done the damage.
daily we registered on so many websites. If I ask the viewers who are watching me right now, your email you have used your email in registering so many other services. Same goes with your mobile number. Now, for example, if you registered on an e-commerce website and that e-commerce website got hacked, there is a big probability that the password which you used on that website is already leaked. And the problem is, maybe there is also a probability that you are using the same password everywhere, including your social media, including your online banking and other application. So now criminals may or may not have your password, and they can try to use the same password on other website of yours which belongs to the same email.
But that's not all. Safe Security also has an app that secures an individual's mobile from any hacking attacks without disturbing one's privacy. And this is free for all and available online.
According to an estimate, there are more than 60 crore smartphones in the country. Now, smartphones have become part of our lives, or should we say they are an integral part of our lives. But are they safe? Because they carry all the information that we have in our personal life and we need to protect them. But is my smartphone protected? Well, for this I need this doctor, and he has a lot of prescriptions which I can myself look into, read, and at the same time diagnose and treat the problem.
Safe Security is one of the few startup champions that was handpicked for a presentation before Prime Minister Narendra Modi in January this year.
ये जो स्कोरिंग एल्गोरिदम हमने बनाया है, ये आईआईटी बॉम्बे और यूएस के एमआईटी के साथ जॉइंट रिसर्च करके बनाया है सर, जिसका पेटेंट हमें एक रिकॉर्ड टाइम 6 महीने में मिल पाया, थैंक्स टू द स्टार्टअप इंडिया इनिशिएटिव.
Another co-founder of the company, Vidit Bakshi from Gujarat, still treasures the moment.
We are really honored, to be a part of that small hand-picked, list of people, a list of startups. We are really honored, and we feel, really privileged, to be a part of that list. Speaking with the, Prime Minister of our country is obviously one of the proud moment for us, for our entire family of our company, and our extended families as well.
From air tickets to pizzas, big banks to Fortune 500 multinationals, Safe Security is providing data security to all. With more than 200 top customers across the globe, the success of these three has made it sure that India remains at the forefront of technological innovations.
You can have a round of applause for them. So the brilliant journey of the startup Safe Security. And Rahul is with us, co-founder. Rahul, very interesting to learn about your journey. Now, we also understand that there are many players in the cyber security setup in the market. How do you distinguish yourself? What makes Safe Security different from others?
So first of all, thank you so much for the lovely introduction. And so if I have to go to a grassroots level, yes, and make everyone understand what we do, if I ask you one question that what is the battery status of your phone right now? And people who are watching me, they can check their battery and can tell me online that their battery status is 10%, 20%, 25%. So actually you have a number to quantify the status of your battery. But if I ask you the same question, how secure is your phone right now? You can say, I have this solution, that solution, I have this type of settings, but how secure you are? You'll never have that quantify answer.
Right. But that's also because we don't think of our mobile phones being open to so much risk. We often don't talk about antiviruses for a mobile phone. So how significant is that? If you can tell us, because the app that you have, Save Me, tells you about the risk that the mobile phone is facing. And
absolutely.
You are facing. Yeah.
So I think antivirus is the basic necessity, and I think our mentor can tell more about that because he belongs to the same field. But we can say that our application is an extended version of the solution which are already there. It's a complement to them actually. Like I was telling you that like you cannot quantify the risk of your smartphone. Now, when you ask that why, what makes us special? So we are trying to quantify cybersecurity for the enterprises, for the consumers also. For example, for a multinational bank or a 500 Fortune company, they are spending millions and billions and dollars on cybersecurity. But after spending much, what is their status which they can quantify? Maybe a technical person can understand a 250 pages report that how secure we are. But when you go to the board members, they don't understand. They can be technical people, they may not be technical people.
Right.
So we are trying to bridge this gap by giving you a score from 0 to 5, very easy to understand. More you go up with the score, more secure you are, and that depends on the action items which you perform.
Right, and Rahul, this quantifiable data, is that unique to what you do? Is it the first time that a cybersecurity service provider is providing an information like that?
So if you see in the market, I think we are the first one who is trying to create a different segment in cybersecurity, which we call digital business and cyber risk quantification. Right. Now, cyber risk quantification is something we want everyone to understand that unless and until you cannot quantify something, you cannot protect it. So it's a proactiveness approach where we help organizations to predict according to all the data points that in next 12 months, what is the probability of their organization to be hacked. Right. So you know in next 12 months, if I will not protect this thing, I will be hacked and my score will go up and down accordingly.
Right. And you've had a fabulous growth as a startup. You started in Delhi with headquarters, and now the headquarters is based in California, United States. Tell us a little about that journey, the companies that that you connect with, Facebook, Google, they're big companies in India as well, airport as well. Tell us about the manner in which you went about giving solutions to these big companies, and what did they expect from an Indian startup?
Sure. So I think in 2012 we started the company. We are proud to say that we are incubated out of IIT Bombay, and the journey starts there. We started as a services business, and then after that, a couple of years after, then we realized that to scale more, definitely we moved to from services company to a product-based company, and made in India product for the world, I must say. Yes. And then startup ecosystem happened. And thanks to the Startup India initiative and the way government has welcomed a startup like us, and we start getting more engagements from private companies, as well as, if you heard about the BHIM application launched by Prime Minister, we are the company who did the security for that at that time. And I think as a security company, we were so proud that the application, so I don't want to endorse, but yes, I would like to tell everyone that as compared to any private player in India, BHIM application launched by the government is I can say 5x secure than any other platform which is
That's very good to know, because it's used so extensively by all of us. Let's connect with our mentor, Gaurav Agarwal, and get a perspective on your journey. Gaurav, how do you see the journey of safe security? What gap areas exist in the cybersecurity market that safe security has been able to fill, if you can tell us about that?
Sure. So I think the very concept of how exposed you are or how risky your environment is from a corporate perspective is typically, for example, a senior board member or a CEO will ask the CISO, and a CISO struggles to answer that question because he cannot give him a 250-page technical report to read and understand where they are and what they're exposed for. So metrics like what they have developed, which ranks and rates on a scale of 0 to 5, and therefore also potentially gives an exposure of what's the financial risk they carry, is a significant step ahead, especially for converting the speak between the Chief Information Security Officer or the CIO and the board members and the CEO, because otherwise that conversation is not very easy to have. And therefore, then making sure if the score is low, getting the right investments, getting the right attention to fix those issues. The one big challenge that exists in the cybersecurity world is that there are more, there are at least 1,500 companies that operate in this space. And most customers have a variety of solutions that are deployed in their organization. But still they don't know where can they be attacked from and how can they be attacked from, because these 15 or 16 or 20 solutions that are deployed don't really talk to each other. All of them have their own management consoles. All of them protect something that they're supposed to protect, but don't give a holistic picture to a CEO or a board member. So something which SAFE is doing attempts to do that, and therefore I think it's a step in the right direction, but still a long way to go because people are still deploying point products and trying to figure out where the attack vector can come from, and not being able to look at the whole picture.
Right, Gaurav, that important point. Rahul, we talked about the manner in which the risks in the cyber security space has increased manifold, especially during the pandemic. You connect with a diverse set of customers. We mentioned some of them. How do you go about it, addressing such diverse requirements? What is the team that you work with, your own team that connects with these customers? If you can give us a picture of how you work.
So, so we can say that as a security company, our expertise is in hacking, you know.
Yes.
With ethical hacking, we say that when we got a permission, we try to infiltrate their servers and try to see.
That's how you start with any customer company.
It depends upon, for example, if it's a bank and every bank needs to deposit a report to the RBI every quarter and maybe semi-quarter or semi-annual. So they come to us that, okay, this is the requirement we have, and as a third party we audit that. It's just like a financial auditing. So we, with their permission, try to hack into whatever the technology which is available and tell them how secure they are. From an enterprise point of view, we used to do this service years back. Now, as I told you, because we are a security product based company, now we deploy our platform into their organization. And it can be a bank, it can be an airport, it can be a manufacturing company or a hospital, anything. And then we connect, and for the youngsters, every company runs on basically 5 pillars. If you want to secure a company, there are 5 pillars you need to secure. One is your people, like our mentor said, people, phishing attacks will come to people and they will do the mistake. Second is your compliance, like regulatory bodies and so on and so forth. Third is your technology, because you see a lot of computers everywhere around, they need to be protected, right? Fourth is your cyber security products. Many companies buy cyber security products, but are they capable enough to use the right settings of that product to use it to the 100% level, to the optimum level? We check the configurations of that. Last and not least is the third party. Like my company is taking service from XYZ company. What if they do a mistake and because they have access to my systems, I'll be compromised? My entire platform can take from a 900 IP addresses to 90 million IP addresses, from one computer to 90 million computers, and then collect entire information about the security status of that, communicate with each of the other vectors, and give you a score from 0 to 5. Now, the technology stack, to answer to your question now, the technology stack in most of the organization remains the same. So, if I am hacking into a SQL server, which collects the data of the customers, right, where you save the data, that technology remains mostly same, maybe change here and there, but the techniques to hack into it, the techniques to check the security of so technology stack remains the same, people remain the same.
Right.
The only the attack vectors change.
So, as a company, I become more aware about where the possible risk could be coming from.
From a micro level to the macro level, both.
Right, right. Very interesting. At that point in time, if you can get some questions from the audience members as well, the questions that you may have for our startup. Who'll go first?
During pandemic, the education system going on from offline to online within no time.
Yes.
Don't you think our students are very vulnerable to this cybercrime?
So, I think it's a fantastic question. So, I'll do a counter question on that just to make the conversation more fruitful. If I ask anyone here and the people who are watching me right now, who gave us a formal training to use a smartphone? The answer is no one, right? Look at a 4-year child or a 10-year child, they are using the gadgets without a formal training. This is the same thing happened at a scale in the pandemic, but the root level problem was the same. We were introduced to the technology, may or may not we were ready for that, but in the left hand side we are okay with that, but here it becomes a problem, and that definitely, especially in the education system, it is people's Zoom calls getting leaked and so on and so forth. That's a problem statement. I think it was the time when schools and other educational institutes should start before jumping to these platforms, at least have a one session with these students to tell them how to use it securely. How many people you know that they've got introduced as a student from their universities or colleges or schools with the one class before starting it, how to securely use this application which we are using. So I think that in India, if I say, the problem is not with the technology, and with the proud I can say that to everyone that Indian BFSI, the digital India, I must say, especially from the financial sector, is 10x better and secure than United States, without any doubt, and we should be proud of that. So the problem with this is not with the technology. The problem is with the awareness level, the cyber hygiene practices, which needs to be, I think, to be done from the root level to the bigger level, and that is the reason we introduce a free of cost application, which sir just mentioned, Safe Me application. It's absolutely free for every citizen, and from a school level to how to use securely WhatsApp. There are 3-minute animated videos, cartoon videos available in Hindi and English, so that there is not a language barrier. So once you see that, you know how to use. I'll give you a small example, then I'll wrap up with the question. In our organization, if someone is having a daughter or a son and they want to use social media, the only criteria we have made is, okay, you use our application and see this 3-minute video how to securely use Facebook. It's basic do's and don'ts, which have never been taught to the students yet. Once you do that, we will ask you 5 questions in the app. How much you learned from that video.
It's a good place to learn as well. And that app, Safe Me, it's called. Rahul, is it free for people to download?
Actually, this is absolutely free for consumers, for every Indian citizen. And we want that from schools and especially the people who are remotely. In India, you're not losing money because of a bank is hacked, you know. You're losing money because a scamster calls you and do a scam and you share the OTP. Right. So this is the first step and a very aggressive step from our side to reach the masses and ensure that our country will shift from digital India to a secure digital India.
Fantastic. It will be great to really experience it firsthand. Let's also connect with the family members of Mr. Bakshi, the co-founder. And we spoke to some of the family members. Let's see what they had to say.
Absolutely.
I'm extremely proud of the place that Safe Security has reached today. I have seen Vidit, Saket and Rahul's dedication to scale up this company from the beginning, and today they have taken their business to a great place. I have seen them stumble but get up and drive forward again.
विदित का मोरल अप करने में उसके मदर का भी हाथ इतना ही है. पहले जब साइबर का काम करता था तब मैं मना कर रहा था, तो वो उसको इनकरेज करती थी. और मैं यही गुजारिश करता हूँ जो भी मदर फादर देख रहे हैं कि आपके बच्चे को कभी डिसअपॉइंट नहीं करो, उसको इनकरेज करो. शायद उसके भविष्य में लिखा हो ब्राइट, तो आगे आ जाएगा. तकदीर में जो लिखा है वो तो मिलने वाला ही है.
So, a glimpse of the kind of family support that the startup enjoyed. Rahul, you'd like to share something about the manner in which the families of the founders stood by in this journey?
So, I think family plays a very, very important role, especially for the youngsters who are there. I still remember being in Punjab, so I belong to Gurdaspur, and hope my citizens are my citizens. So I'm saying, sorry, can you make it up again?
Yes, again,
okay.
please.
So I think parents plays a very, very important role in your journey. But one thing you need to understand that in this entire journey, you should have a vision, you know, and unless and until you don't have a vision, then it's a dream, you know. Dream can be fulfilled, cannot be fulfilled. So I think when we started this journey of cybersecurity, none of our parents were actually knowing what we are doing. Still they struggle sometime when someone asks what your son do. They said, okay, he's a cybersecurity professional hacker, and people say, okay, he's a hacker, don't talk to him. So there is a phobia of that, but I think it's changing. But I think parents played a very important role. Right. I still remember my dad, he used to bring the first computer in our house, and they went outside for an hour, and I was very curious to understand how this worked. And I opened up the entire computer. When he came back, I put the processor wrong, I put the RAM wrong, and it was a boom, you know.
Right.
And he was very, very upset with that. But definitely the way they have seen our, starting a startup, you work 18 hours a day. But after 8 years, we still work more than 18 hours, I must say.
That's fantastic, and that's perhaps the reason
and
for
that
your
is the
success.
Continuous thing you need to do in a startup. Starting में
That's
सब
important.
करते हैं, but
That's
you should
important.
not.
Absolutely important words of wisdom. If we can also get some comments from our mentor Gaurav Agarwal. Gaurav, it's a classic example, safe security, of make in India, make for the world. Going forward, how do you see the opportunity and challenges that lie ahead for them?
Sure. So I think they've done commendable work to reach where they are. But getting reference customers for the product architecture that they are trying to sell and position is important. And I think as they evolve their product further, more and more requirement from customers today is not only for dashboarding but for a closed loop implementation, which basically means saying that okay, if there is a problem, how do you fix that problem as well? And I think as they go forward, how can they evolve their product to integrate with something that can offer closed loop implementation of the exposure that gets discovered, I think will be the next step to make it extremely relevant for enterprises that look at them.
Great, thanks very much for that input. Gaurav, let's meet our second startup, StackU Technologies. This is a startup that's redefining the paradigms of security. They're harnessing the power of artificial intelligence. They use technologies of voice recognition, of facial recognition, and they help their customer monitor the processes of their business. They're particularly transformative for policing. They can help track and catch criminals and prevent crime in the manner. Let's take a look at their brilliant journey.
Utilizing artificial intelligence to prevent a crime, buzzing an alarm to foil a robbery. They are the face of modern solutions in the field of security and big data analytics. 8 terror modules busted. 4,500 plus criminals identified. 35 lakh cases registered. Partnered with police forces to nab criminals. The startup behind this is StackU Technologies, whose founders are revolutionizing the concept of modern security. StackU uses a software called Jarvis, which uses facial recognition to identify criminals. Its artificial intelligence-powered app allows police forces to carry the data and use the information as needed.
First month of the launch, in 2017-18, we identified around 100 criminals in Punjab, right? So that actually created the buzz in the market, and of course now we are working with almost every North Indian state police forces, and apart from that we are working with Telangana police. So we are working with UP, Punjab, Bihar, Rajasthan, Haryana, Chhattisgarh. So all these states are working with us, right?
But how does this software work, and why is it a revolution in modern technology? Meet Chief Technology Officer of StackU, who explains the algorithm.
We can see the list of criminals that has been created using the mobile applications, and the application is being used in real time by the police personnel. So we can even see the real time search history of the police personnel. So this is the police agencies using their mobile application to search the criminals in real time.
So Jarvis has proven to be one of the best customizable video analytics AI engine, and this product has revolutionized the concept of modern security.
They use the technologies of facial recognition, person detection, pose detection, and violence detection, to name a few. But what is the impact of this technology, and why it has become the ultimate digital dossier for police investigations? The co-founder explains.
We have identified more than 4,500 criminals in the country, and in that some of the very top-notch kind of criminals also being identified with this technology. That is one part. And apart from that, we have identified around 8 terrorist modules in the country. So, I mean, in that way, we are creating the impact.
StackU started in 2015, and from 2017, they entered into police artificial intelligence system, Homeland Security. Starting from rupees 8 lakh to rupees 13 crore 87 lakh revenue last year, they are growing big in numbers too. But their vision is to create an artificial intelligence-enabled society where businesses rely more on human intelligence to bring in innovation while ensuring complete automation across their business units.
Target that we have is to basically solve the security related use cases of even the security agencies, or it could be enterprise, not just limited to India, or we want to expand globally as well.
They are working in B2B model currently, but aspire that their product reaches directly to each and every individual so that the common man not only feels secured but also safe in the country.
Brilliant journey of Stackio Technologies. And Anurag, co-founder, is with us. Anurag, very interesting the manner in which your software works. Where did the idea come in? Did you know that you're going to work on a software that is going to make our physical environment safer and be able to monitor it?
So, to be honest, we started our journey in 2015 with a vision of doing the research in the field of AI. So, we started off with very different use case. We were providing kind of recommendation to e-commerce website, like based on your clothing sense, what could be other clothing sense you could wear. So, we started with that use case, but sooner we solved few of the we utilize the same technology to solve few of the you can say the crime cases of the police agencies, and that's when our focus started towards the safety and security. And thereafter we collaborated with various kind of police agencies to basically gather the criminal data and provide them the tools for them to provide sort of a proactive analysis and do the you can say help them in solving the crime.
Right. Now, Anurag, just to understand your startup in a better fashion, we understand the technology of facial recognition, voice recognition. Some of us use it on our mobile phones as well. How does your startup use it differently? What difference does artificial intelligence make in all of this?
So, in general, what happens is facial recognition and even the audio recognition, these technologies are already available, but we need to provide some sort of safety, or you can say the security to the in general the public. So what happens is we have seen in the past decade that there have been lot of CCTV cameras that have been installed in your neighborhood, but what happens behind those scenes is agencies are basically utilizing those technology, the facial recognition and the audio recognition, to basically safeguard you and provide you sort of proactive policing.
Right, and so to understand, you take it forward, the CCTV network that may be present at a particular point, you take it forward by connecting it to your software.
Right.
Right. And on this, let's get a perspective from our mentor, Gaurav Agarwal, as well. Gaurav, how do you see the journey of Stackio Technologies, the manner in which they've been able to customize the solutions for the end customers, particularly in the area of policing?
Extremely interesting and extremely relevant, right? Because what has happened over the last 5 or 6 years or more, there's been a lot of rollouts of video surveillance technologies and systems by various police departments, and as the initiative under Smart City as well as Safe City. So there are a lot of cities, in fact big cities like Bombay, etc. as well, that have done a complete rollout of video surveillance systems across the board. Now you have in a typical scenario, once you have these systems and then you have police officers or people looking at screens, they at times will not be able to spot out what you're looking for unless there is artificial intelligence, machine learning used to figure out how do you really look for what you're trained to look at. And human fatigue sets in. So bringing in technology to look at what you want to look at is extremely important, because you're trying to avoid human error or fatigue by missing out on things that you don't want to miss out.
Interesting there. Anurag, it's very good to know that our police services are also using cutting edge technology like artificial intelligence. What has your experience been working with that?
So when we started with police agencies, so they were quite apprehensive about adopting the technology, and but when we started solving few of the use cases, so they were quite interesting in adopting the technology and into various other use cases that they could solve with this technology.
Can you share one of such cases that your software played an important role in cracking the case?
We have the database of all the criminals that is created. So there was one of the case where there was a criminal who had run out of jail, and there's already a CCTV cameras which are placed, and police got the info that the criminal is inside that building. So using the CCTV camera, we got we recognized that criminal is at that place, and police did the encounter and solved the case.
Right, and there are thousands and thousands of CCTV cameras in the country in different organizations. With the help of your software, one can track and monitor a person who may be required, and I hope criminals don't come after you for the role that your software is playing in cracking the case.
Yeah,
Let's get a perspective from DG Uttar Pradesh Police, what he had to say on your software.
ऐसा ऐप है जिसने पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट को, स्पेशली जो थाना लेवल पर पुलिस है, उनको क्रिमिनल्स को ट्रैक डाउन करने में बहुत मदद करी है। 2017 में ये एक छोटा सा आइडिया कंसीव हुआ था, जिसमें एक मिस्टर अतुल राय हम लोग इससे मिले थे, स्टैकू वाले, उन्होंने आइडिया फ्लोट किया था। तो उस पर फिर एक ब्रेन स्टॉर्मिंग हो। इस समय एडीजी क्राइम हुआ करता था और हमारे आईजी क्राइम इसके भगत होते थे, तो हम लोगों ने इस पर काम किया था। तो ये फिर वो आइडिया कंसीव हुआ। उसके बाद इन्होंने, जो मिस्टर अतुल राय हैं, इन्होंने उसको डेवलप किया और फिर सारे डेटा जो थानों को, जो थाने में हमारे क्रिमिनल्स के रहते हैं, उनको अपलोड किया गया। फिर एक बताया गया कि सब इसमें अगर जेल में जो क्रिमिनल्स हैं उनके डेटा भी मिल जाए, उनके फोटोग्राफ, डेटा से मतलब है उनके फोटोग्राफ्स और दूसरे डिटेल्स, वो भी अगर मिल जाए और एपीआई के थ्रू उनको अगर इंटीग्रेट कर दिया जाए, तो एक बहुत बड़ा एक ह्यूज जो हमारा एक डेटा बैंक तैयार हो जाएगा, जो कि क्रिमिनल्स को ट्रैक करने में मदद करेगा। तो ये सोच के साथ काम हुआ था। फिर जेल के ऑफिसर्स से भी बात करके, उस समय उनसे बात करके, एनआईसी को इन्वॉल्व करके, और उनके डेटा को भी फिर रोप इन किया गया, और यूँ फिर ये त्रिनेत्र आया निकल के आगे, और इसने फिर बहुत काम किया इधर यूपी पुलिस में।
The kind of important role that your software is playing in policing. So Anurag, I understand you work with a lot of data of criminals and other people. And Rahul, I want your perspective on that as well. Now, since there's working with so much data, it's very important to also secure the setup in which they work. How do you see his startup in that view?
So I think they are doing a fantastic job right now in that, and we had a conversation that maybe we'll be talking to them to look into their database also to secure it more. So startup helping startup, and so, but on a serious note, definitely till now the way they have organized their data and the security parameters or the regulatory bodies respect they have given in terms of saving the customers or saving the criminal data, because it's a very sensitive data.
Yes.
Very, very sensitive data. So I think they have done a very commendable job as of now. But
absolutely, absolutely. And let's get some questions from our audience members as well. Yeah.
I want to know that what is your actual meaning of your company's name, because it sounds quite different.
We are basically from the computer background. So if you have heard, there are two fundamental data structures in computer science, that is stacks and queues. So we combined those, and that's how we pronounce stack queue.
All right.
Yeah.
What would you do if your startup does not be success?
So when we started off, our journey, so we were all from the tech background. So we all know that we are capable of solving, various kind of use cases. Maybe not for the policing. If we fail, there are various use cases in the enterprises that we can target and succeed in that direction.
That's an important point, Anurag. The plan to diversify, because I understand this facial recognition and monitoring can be used in other sectors as well. Tell us a little more about which sectors, what kind of companies can use your software.
Right. So safety and security is not limited to general public. So it's a requirement of every enterprise as well. So there are various audits that they are doing in regular interval. They have their team which is regularly monitoring the CCTV cameras and providing analysis, but that can be automated, right? Using the cameras that we can do. Let's suppose you have a CISO who is, you have hundreds of plants in various locations. You cannot monitor each and every location. So we are kind of providing them technology where you can integrate all those under same Jarvis platform.
And we saw an example of that
Right.
in the audiovisual story. In the times of pandemic, we know hygiene practices are important.
Right.
So one can also monitor if a particular area is getting cleaned on time or
Right.
not, if people are wearing masks or not. Your software can monitor that as well.
Right. So kind of the cloud kitchens that are coming in the
Yes.
recent past. So we need to monitor if the chef is wearing the chef cap or not, they are wearing the hand gloves or not. So we have kind of automatized these kind of norms.
Right.
What is your future plans and what you are more focusing on security in future?
So for future, our plans is to expand globally in terms of enterprising. We want to sort of expand globally, and sooner we close the contracts with various government agencies, and then we realize that this security need is not limited to the government agencies, but it could be expanded to the enterprises as well.
Can you give us an idea about the sort of revenue model that you have for the startup, Anurag?
Right. So for the security agencies, the revenue model is like we start off with creating their database and then providing them technology. So based on per camera basis, we charge them, and for the enterprises as well. So we based on the per camera per month basis, we charge our services.
And given again coming back to the idea of handling a lot of data, with identities, we understand issues of privacy also comes into place.
Right.
Do you have a robust system to protect that aspect of it?
Yes. For the security agencies, our deployment is basically done on their on-prem servers, and where we do all the encryption related stuff. And for the enterprises, we have the partnership with the Microsoft, where we have kind of foolproofed our technology in terms of the transmission and the storage part.
Right. Let's turn to our mentor, Gaurav. Once again, have him on the mentor wall to get a perspective. Gaurav, looking ahead, what kind of opportunities from your perspective can StackU Technologies be looking at?
So, again, the application for surveillance to multiple use cases is immense, and though police may just be a starting point, but even in corporates, and to look at, and again, depending on what you can capture, and then decide whether that action is the right action or not the right action based on intelligence and machine learning is critical. So the number of use cases are literally unlimited and could be limitless based on the machine workshop or the workflow or any service industry as well, right? So the use cases could be they're limitless and they could be left to your imagination. But how do you not create more data which is not useful but insightful data? Like, for example, I was giving this example on how do we convert these dashboards into meaningful closed loop action is what customers are looking for, because too much of data then becomes useless for people to process and work on. How do you synthesize that to meaningful action is what will define the way forward.
Very important food for thought there. As we are looking at the journey of our startup champions, we also see among our audience there is a young innovator and who's also got a model with him. If you can briefly tell us about it. Take the mic.
So this is my model of a digital headcount machine, which exactly count the data that how many persons are present at a particular place. For example, there is a class, and we want to know that how many persons are present in that. So when a teacher comes, she can see the data outside the class and really know the idea about that how many persons, and know and she don't count 1, 2, 3, 4 in the class.
That's amazing. And which class are you in?
I'm from 8th class.
Class 8th, an interesting innovation there. Why don't we put our hands together for the young innovators?
And because of this, I did a survey on this, that particular teacher wastes their 3 to 4 minutes in counting 1, 2, 3, 4 actually the students. And the overall data of only government schools in our India is 450 million hours. Means that 450 million are wasted. And if the teachers express this time in their studies, then it must be better.
So that's brilliant. And what's your name again?
Anuj Singh.
Anuj. Brilliant innovation. Thanks very much for telling us about it. Fantastic. That's fantastic. And Rahul, Anurag, finally, before we let you go, from your experience of your startup, if you could share with us some words of wisdom, the key learning, the ideas that kept you going even when going got tough for young entrepreneurs who are watching this program. Rahul, if I can start with you.
So I think the best learning which I learned, I would like to share with that. First of all, you are 1/3 of the 5 people you are surrounded. So you have to choose your 5 mentors very carefully, and especially maximum time where you spend with those 5 people. Second, no matter you are a good painter and what, look for your passion. Don't just choose a passion because you like it or something. You need to spend time on that. Otherwise, today you like this, tomorrow you see house burning, you want to be a firefighter, tomorrow you see a flight, you want to be a pilot. Spend as much as time possible in thinking what you love the most, which you will do 24/7, you will not be bored.
If you want to be a startup as successful.
That is the key to what I feel is our success, I feel. And we are lucky to now have 200 people like this. So that was the cherry on the top.
Super. Anurag, your message.
So we see that, people have ideas, but they wait and watch, they wait for the opportunity, and they say that I will wait for the money to be accumulated and then I will start it. So if you have an idea, if you are sort of comfortable that it can reach the masses and it could solve some problem, then you should not wait for it, and you should basically target that and start off.
Important words of wisdom from our brilliant startups, if we can put our hands together for them. And as we come towards the conclusion of the program, let's also see the kind of impact that Startup Champions is already having. Take a look.
I would like to thank DD News and Startup India team for giving us such a big platform of Startup Champion. We are getting a lot of calls from smart cities and Indian Railways departments for more information. And also we are getting a call from social welfare associations to understand more about the Fresh Rooms concept.
Hi, thanks for featuring Highway Delight story in Doordarshan channels. It was great honor and privilege to be part of the channel, and thank you for covering our story so well. We have got tremendous inputs and suggestions from a lot of customers across India, and also got interest from 2 different OEMs plus a lot of biking groups across India. So as a show of gratitude, we would like also the viewers to get this opportunity to order FASTag on Highway Delight website or app. You can use DD News in capital as referral code and order FASTag for your vehicles at a discounted price.
And let me now thank the startups who joined us in the program. Rahul, thank you very much. Thank you, Anurag. Thank you to your teams for giving us such inspirational information about your startups. Let me thank our mentor, Gaurav Agarwal, who gave us interesting perspective throughout the program. Thanks very much, Gaurav, for joining us in the program. And thank you to all our audience members. Let us put our hands together once again for everyone present on the stage and online. With that, we come to the close of this program. But this journey of learning, this journey of getting inspired by our brilliant startups will continue. You can connect with us through our email ID. If you want to connect with our startups, tell us about our program. Our email is startup.india@gov.in. With that, I'll take your leave. Namaskar.